What is up, everybody? Welcome in Purple and Gold Podcast, Sunday, February 22nd. LSU run rule Central Florida 11-0 to win and sweep the Live Like Lou Jac's Classic, go to 8-0, run their LSU baseball winning streak, national long winning streak to 16 games dating back to last season. This was simply a dominant performance today, a dominant performance over the weekend by LSU. They beat Indiana 14-7, Notre Dame 9-4, and Central Florida 11-0 today. William Schmidt is the takeaway from this game, 5 shutout innings. He got into a little bit of trouble in the 5th inning, worked his way out of it to finish off his outing. Got a talking to from Nate Yeske and a mound visit from Nate Yeske in the 5th as the trouble swirled around him. Got out of the jam. Maverick Rizzi threw 2 scoreless innings, and LSU with a 4-run top of the 7th to get into run rule territory at 11-0, highlighted by a 2-run double by Derek Curiel. Cade Arrowbeatty homered on Saturday. Cade Arrowbeatty homered on Sunday. All of LSU's starting pitchers made it through 5 innings. There is a lot to like about this LSU baseball team. Are they perfect? No. There's some infield defense, I still think, that is not as good as it has been the last couple of years. But I think LSU will work through some of that through defensive replacements later in games and maybe just overall better decision making. LSU made a couple of errors over the weekend. Cade Arrowbeatty, one on Friday. Trent Caraway, one on Friday, where they may have just been better served to just put the ball in their pocket on a swinging bunt type of play. LSU's bullpen overall, I think, was pretty good. I think they pitched better on Friday than it would have indicated, and they pitched pretty darn good yesterday and obviously today. Ethan Plog came out of the bullpen yesterday in a tough spot and got a strikeout. Devin Sheeran worked himself into a jam out of the bullpen yesterday, but then got back-to-back punch-outs with the bases loaded. And honestly, since that 9-run 8th inning on Friday afternoon, LSU was not really challenged the rest of the way in this tournament. Tigers will regroup and play again on Tuesday before another 4-game weekend with Dartmouth and Northeastern coming to town next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The LSU Lady Tiger basketball team dismantled Missouri 108-55 today. Michaela Williams did start and play in the game, for those wondering, because she did not play in the second half of the game against Ole Miss the other night. However, Grace Knox did not play today. Kim Mulkey called that a coach's decision. Grace Knox has not seen the floor since that hard foul, technical foul situation on Thursday night against Ole Miss. I suspect Grace Knox will be back in the rotation next game. I think messages are being sent by Kim Mulkey and her staff that you are going to play a certain way and you're going to play up to the LSU standard that she and her coaching staff expects. Softball had an undefeated weekend as well. They defeated Howard today 1-0. They beat Michigan State a couple of times over the weekend as well. A 1-run game last night, a walk-off win on Friday night. A winning weekend all the way around for LSU's spring sports teams. I want to give a few thoughts on where I think this baseball team is after 8 games, and we can take a little stock. I will gather some more thoughts, obviously, tonight, and we will talk about this more tomorrow and as the week goes on. But I think my initial thoughts are this team is probably a little bit better offensively than maybe even I thought they would be. I coming into the season, the power was a concern, right? We were worried about not having a Bear Jones type in the lineup. And while I still think that is a valid concern, I do think between Jake Brown, Zach York, and Cade Arrambide, I think those three guys have shown you an ability to hit the ball out. Now, when we get into SEC pitching, we'll see if they're still hitting home runs at the same clip. Where I think this team excels, though, is a relentless lineup 1 through 9. They can double you to death. They can walk. They get hit by pitches. They can string hits together. They don't wait for a 3-run homer. And I think this team's base running and this team's ability to get on base and just the relentless pressure that and look, it's been more than just 9 guys. You know, a guy like Mason Braun comes off the bench on Friday and goes 3 for 3 in a pinch hitting situation. Braden Simpson, John Pearson, on down the line, Seth Dardar. We've seen guys not start games, but Jay mix and match in the middle of the game, pinch hit, matchups. And we've seen guys still impact winning in the middle to latter part of the game. I think the next evolution would be to get Chris Stanfield back and then see where some of these other guys fit in. I like Braden Simpson in left field right now, while you don't have Chris Stanfield. I really like the lineup they had today. Stanfield in left, Caraway at third, Dardar at second, Arrambide was your catcher, Mason Braun was your DH. When Mason Braun is hitting 8th and Trent Caraway is hitting 9th, that's a heck of a lineup. And if Cade Arrambide and Zach York and Jake Brown are going to continue to supply the power, there really has been, I'm not going to say Derek Curiel and Stephen Milam have been quiet, because they haven't been quiet, but by their standards, I don't even know that they've really even taken off yet. So to me, the sky's the limit on this team offensively. Omar Cerna has had his moments. Tanner Reeves, even though he's had some tough moments, he had a 2-run bunt single on Friday. He's had some nice offensive moments in the past. I still think he's a guy that Jay Johnson will use. There's just a lot of players on this team offensively who can impact winning for LSU. And I think they've been better offensively through 8 games than maybe even I thought they would be. On the pitching side, I think it's about what we've expected. I think we knew LSU had a slew of bullpen pieces. I think we knew they would use them. I think we knew early on LSU's starting pitchers were not going to go very deep in games. Certainly last weekend, Cooper Moore could have come out for another inning. He probably could have come out for another inning yesterday. Kason Evans, if he wouldn't have run into such trouble in the 3rd inning, he had carved up Indiana through the 4th and 5th inning to the tune of 15 pitches in 2 innings. I think in another week or two, he would have come back for a 6th inning. I think LSU's starters are trending in the right direction. I think if William Schmidt can harness his control and not walk so many batters, his stuff plays up on a Sunday like nobody's business. Cooper Moore could be one of your better Saturday starters in the conference, and William Schmidt could be one of the better Sunday starters in the conference. Assuming Kason Evans can continue to make the progression and continue to be the Friday night guy, I didn't see anything on this past Friday that would lead me to believe he can't. In the bullpen, it's an embarrassment of riches, but when you have got, the one thing I would caution is, when you have guys only going 5 or so innings starting-wise, there's always that possibility that one guy comes out of the bullpen and just doesn't have it in a close SEC game, and you wind up losing. So I'm still interested to see, can LSU stretch out their starters a little bit more? Obviously, over these next 2 weekends, they'll condense their weekend bullpen pieces into, the 8 or so guys that Jay Johnson and Nate Yeske will have the most confidence in on the weekends. But you look at Gavin Guidry's obviously been great. Devin Sheeran's had his moments. Ethan Plog's had a moment. Dax Stathy's had moments. Santiago Garcia, we believe, will be a stellar part of this bullpen. Maverick Rizzi's been good. You kind of go through it and you say, they've just got so many options. They're going to figure it out. And they're 8-0 right now. It's baseball, right? Anything can happen on Tuesday night. Anything can happen next weekend. But LSU's, going to be monumentally favored to overwhelm some of these teams that they play here over the better part of the remainder of the non-conference schedule before they get into SEC play. This will be an important 2 weeks, though, to ramp up starters, iron out roles in the bullpen, hopefully get Chris Stanfield back, continue to get people at bats later in games, Jack Ruckert, John Pearson, all of the people who Jay Johnson believes can affect winning. And look, this is a team that there are going to be a lot of players used to win if LSU is going to go where they want to go. This is not going to be same 9 guys every day, same 6 guys on the weekend like it was last year because Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson sucked up so many innings. This is going to take more of LSU's roster, but luckily LSU's roster is deep and talented. We'll be here to cover it. We'll be here to talk about it. Tigers are 8-0. Lady Tigers big win today, 108-55. Enjoy your Sunday night. Get ready for a new week. As always, be good to one another, and always, 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 go Tigers.